So, I am Suranjana, fellow chartered accountant, and I am going to discuss strategic management and leadership subject with you. But in this sessions, I am not going to discuss theory in details, because in our first series we cover all the theory areas in details. So, if you want to get to know more about the theory, you can check them in your learning management system, and you can refer them further. In my these sessions, I am trying to discuss some questions, especially from your revision kit. I am sure you have already downloaded the revision kit. So, my task here is to discuss some question from the revision kit. In addition to what is in the revision kits, we will try to discuss some other questions also, maybe at the end of the series, probably in the final 2 to 3 sessions. We will try to cover some other questions also. So, in today my sessions, I am going to discuss questions from first 2 topics. Right. I am going to discuss question from first 2 topic. In first topic, we are going to look at about what is strategic management and how can we get a comparative advantage from the strategic management subject. Then in topic number 2, we are going to look at about environmental analysis. Under that, we are going to look at about the external environment. If time permit, I will try to touch the topic number 3 also today. That is strategic positions. In that particular topic, we are trying to look at about the internal environment of the organizations. Right. As I have told you earlier, I am going to discuss some questions from revision kit. First of all, we will look at about a few questions. Right. So, I am going to start the session discussion from the part A, strategy and comparative advantage. From that, I will try to discuss first 3 questions which test your knowledge on strategy and the comparative advantage. So, first of all, we will look at about the question number 1. Question number 1. That is in the page number 28 in your revision kit. Page number 28 in your revision kit. SBU, Strategic Business Unit, SBU it is important that the strategies of a strategic business unit link to both the overall corporate strategy of a company and to the company's functional strategies. Required, explain why this is the case, 10 marks. So, look at the questions carefully. So, read the questions carefully, take few seconds and read the questions carefully. So, it is important that the strategies of a strategic business unit link to both the overall corporate strategy of a company and to the company's functional strategies. Now, it tests your knowledge on the levels of a business. So, if you go through your study text at the beginning, you can identify what are the levels of a business. So, this question tests your knowledge on that area. In page number 4 in your study text, if you look at the page number 4 in your study text, it talk about the levels of a strategy. So, that is normally arrived from based on level of business, right. So, we will look at about the questions in detail. It try to test your knowledge how strategies of a strategic business unit should be linked with both overall corporate strategy and the functional strategy. There are few things you want to know under these questions. You want to know what is corporate strategy, what is functional strategy. At the same time, you want to know what is strategic business unit. So, we will look at about the theory aspect also a little bit on this theory aspects. So, levels of strategy, how many levels of strategy we have identified? So, we have identified 3 levels of strategy. These 3 levels of strategy were identified based on the levels of business. So, first of all, we will try to get an understanding about what are the levels of a business. Then, based on that, we will try to identify the 3 levels of the strategy. So, what are the 3 levels of business? I will take a group of a company as an example to illustrate this. Suppose there is a group called XYZ group, we can say XYZ company. So, under this XYZ company, suppose there are 3 business unit, company X, company Y, company Z. So, there are three business unit under the XYZ group, X, Y and Z. Then under each company, there are some functional department, productions, HR, finance, marketing, so here also we can identify similar department. Right. So, if you look at about this particular example, we can identify three levels. The group level, we can call it as corporate level, individual business unit level, we can call it as business level, then functional level, we can call it as functional level, or same thing is called as operational, functional or operational level. So, based on the levels, we can identify three levels of the strategy, The strategy identified at the corporate level, we call it as corporate strategy. Strategy identified at the business level, individual business level, we call it as business level strategy or business strategy. Strategy identified at the functional level, we call it as functional or operational strategy. Functional operation strategy, right. So, we will try to discuss each one in details. The first one is corporate strategy. So, what is corporate strategy? This is the most general level of the strategy, that the first thing you want to know. This is the most general level of the strategy, Under this, we identify the strategy for the whole organizations, or in other words, we are going to look at about the organization as a whole under this. So, we look at about the whole organization here, organization as a whole, right. So, I mentioned two things. The first thing is this is the most general level of the strategy. The second thing is here we look at about the organizations as a whole, right, organization as a whole will be considered. We will will try to get further clarification on this. So, what is the meaning of organization as a whole? At this particular level, we are not going to look at about individual business or the respective functional areas of the individual businesses. No. Here we are going to look at about the total organizations. When we are trying to take decisions or make decisions, we are trying to make decisions which are valuable from the total perspective. In other words, we try to look at the whole organizations and try to take decisions that add the highest value to the whole organization, not to the individual business unit. At this particular level, top level managers normally take decisions. For an example, board of directors will take decisions at this particular level. So, what are the different type of decisions that will be taken at this particular level? I will try to identify few example of the decision taken at this particular level also. For an example, they may try to make decisions about new investment decisions. They will look at about the external environment available, and will try to identify some opportunities in the business environment. Then they will take decision to make new investment to capitalize the opportunity available in the external environment. For an example, if there is an opportunity available in the construction industry, to capitalize that particular opportunity, they may take a decisions to start a new business unit. They may take a decision to start a new business unit. Say for example, company let's say R, they may take a decision to start a company R. So, that will conduct construction activities. Right. That is one of the example. Another example is divestment decisions. This is the opposite strategy of the first strategic decisions we have identified. What is first strategic decisions we have identified? That is the new investment. So, you may take the opposite strategy of that one. Divestment decision may be taken, right. For an example, suppose company X is a hotel, and it is suffering losses continuously. So, they may take a decision to sell this particular business unit. They may take a decision to sell this business unit and get the money back to the group, and probably that money may be used to develop the company R. Right. So, divestment decisions are made at the corporate level. Any other example on that? For an example, it may be joint venture decisions, joint venture decisions, joint venture decisions. So, joint venture decisions at made at the corporate level. So, what is a joint venture? So, in there may be few other parties involved in the initial investment. For an example, there may be two companies put capital and start a new joint venture. I will say for here XYZ group, they put money, XYZ group, then we will say there is another company called A, they also put money and establish new business called B, here we will say 50% capital is put by XYZ group, then A company also going to put 50% of the capital of the business. Right. Now, here see what they have done is they have invest money, XYZ group invests 50% of the total capital, then A also invests 50% of the capital, and they are going to establish the business B, right, business B. So, this is an example of a joint venture. So, this decision is normally taken at the corporate level, right. Then, so any other example we can identify. So, another example is merger decisions. So, we will look at what is merger also, merger decisions. So, what is merger? So, in merger what will happen is two entities become one entity, two entities started to operate as a one entity. If I illustrate this one for you, see there are two business called A and B, and they become A, B. Now, there is a difference between joint venture and the merger. In joint venture, for an example, if two entity infuse or inject capital and start a new joint venture, in that scenario that original two company exit. In addition to that original two entity, there will be another entity, there will be three entities. But in merger, so what will happen in a merger, so if two entity merge each other, so there will be no three entities, instead what will happen, that two entity become one particular entity. If you look at about this example, AB company, there are two company called A and B. Now, new they merge, now we have a company called A, B, there will be no two companies called A and B, instead we are going to have only the A, B company. For an example, Standard Chartered banks. We look at about the Standard Chartered Bank. Standard Chartered Bank is a merge of two entities. Earlier there were two entities, but now we have only one entity. Right. Then what are the other decisions normally taken at the corporate level? So, we look at about some other decision taken at the corporate level. Another decision taken at the corporate level is franchising decisions. So, at the corporate level, you may take a decision to get a franchise right. For an example, like fast food chain. In Sri Lankan context, there are some franchises like McDonald's. So, McDonald's is the parent one, and in Sri Lanka there is a local company, this Abans, has taken the franchise right of the McDonald's. That is one of the example for the franchising. Then another example is KFC. It's an international chain in Sri Lanka. Cargill's has taken the franchise right of the KFC. Right, franchising is another example. Then another example is like subcontracting. Subcontracting decision may be taken at the corporate level. Then international market decisions. International market decisions will be taken at the corporate level. International market decisions, for what international market we are going to enter and where we are going to operate will be primarily decided at the corporate level. Right. So, I try to explain few things to you in relation to corporate level. One is, this is the most general level strategy of the organizations. Here we are consider the organization as a whole. We are trying to take decisions by considering the organization as a whole. Then I try to identify who is going to make decisions at the corporate level. So, top level managers normally going to take the decisions at the corporate level. For an example, board of directors will take decisions at the corporate level. Then I try to find some example for the corporate level decisions: new investment, divestment, joint venture, merger, franchising, subcontracting, international markets. Those decisions are normally taken at the corporate level. Then I am going to move to the next level. So, what is the next level? That is business level. So, at the business level, we are going to identify a strategy. That strategy we call it as business strategy. Right. So, what is business strategy? Now, at this particular level, we are taking decisions for a particular business unit. We are going to take decision in relation to a particular business unit. For an example, say company R is a construction company. So, we will take decision in relation to constructions company R at this particular level. Company Y, suppose this is a bank, we will take decision in relation to this particular unit, company Z. So, we will try to take suppose Z is a hotel. So, we will try to take decision in relation to hotel industry. At this particular level, the objective of identifying a strategy is to obtain a competitive advantage for the organizations. So, here our objective is to obtain a competitive advantage for the organizations. So, at the company level or the business level, they come up with a strategy to obtain a competitive advantage. If you look at about this each business unit, operate in a distinct market, and offer distinct product and services, separately identifiable product and services. For an example, company Y, if it is a bank, they may operating in the banking industry, and they may offer some banking products. For an example, banking products like savings accounts, normal savings, fixed deposits, then loans, personal loans, housing loan, phoning, leasing, those will be the product of them. The company Z is a insurance company. They may have insurance product like general insurance, life insurance product. And general insurance may be fire, burglary, right, marine, like that there will be different insurance product, right. If you look at about each one, so each one we can call it as SBU, strategic business unit. So each company we can call it as a strategic business unit. Here in this example, now at this moment we can identify 3 strategic business unit called company R, Y and the Z, right, company R, Y and the Z, right. If you look at about SBU, they are operating in a separately identifiable market. They have different customer base. For an example, company R construction customers are not the same to the company Y. Banking customer will be different from their customers. Here Z, insurance customer will be different from the Y customers. They have separate customer base. At the same time, their competitors will also be different, not the same. So, company Y will have a different competitor list, Z also will have a different competitor list. For an example, company Y will say it is a Bank of Ceylon. If it is Bank of Ceylon, they may have a competitors like People's Bank, HNB, Sampath, Ceylon. Here Z will say it's a say MBSL insurance, it is a MBSL insurance, then they will have competitors like Sri Lanka Insurance, Selinco Insurance, right. I think it is clear for you what is business strategy, right. Then I can move to the next one. The next one is functional or operational strategy. Functional or operational strategy. Here strategy identify at the departmental level, we call it as functional operational strategy. The strategy identified at the department level, we call it as functional operational strategy. For an example, we look at about this example. So, production department will have their own strategy. They will decide how the product will be produced, in what plant, in what quantity, the decisions will be taken by them. Then HR, they will identify a strategy to recruit suitable people to the company, and after recruiting them, they will identify strategies which are helpful to develop the human resources and retain them with the organizations. Then finance, look at about the finance divisions, they will identify a strategy how to get the required fund for the business and how to allocate them among different objectives in the organizations. Then marketing strategy, so marketing people will identify how to create sales for the organizations. So, what are the different promotional activities that will be undertaken? Those decisions will be taken by the marketing department. Right. Now, what is our questions? Our questions say SBU strategies should be in line with corporate strategy and should be connect with the functional strategy. So, what is the meaning of that? Now, I am trying to address the requirement in the questions. Right. So, that means, so whatever the strategy identify at the corporate level should be supported by the business level strategy. Now, at the corporate level, they may have identified particular objectives and strategies, then each business unit want to come up with suitable strategy to support the corporate level strategy. For an example, if there is an objective set at the corporate level to have a 8% return for the shareholders, 8% return to the shareholders, then each business unit want to support this. So, what they have to do is they have to also generate enough profit which will guarantee 8% return to the shareholders. So, this should be in line in what is expected at the corporate level. For an example, if I say some simple example, suppose at the group level, we have set a target of achieving, let us say 600 million profit. So, that is the group level objective. Then at each individual company level, they want to have a objective supporting that particular objective. For an example, company R will say 200 million target of profit, Y also will say 300 million target, Z suppose 100 million targets. Now see, 600 million profit target should be delivered, right, should be delivered from these 3 business unit. So, R is going to deliver 200 million, Y is going to deliver 300 million, then Z is going to deliver 100 million. See, now the total is 600 million. So, each business unit support the target of 600 million profit of the group. Then functional level, the next thing is functional level. So, functional level should support to the business level strategy. The functional level actually deliver what is required. So, at the functional level they try to deliver what is required. For an example, company Y, if you look at the company Y, they want to earn 300 million profit. To earn 300 million profit, suppose they want to sell thousand unit, assume like that. So, to earn 300 million, they want to produce 1000 unit. Then what production division want to do? They want to come up with a strategy that will help to produce 1000 unit. For an example, if they have 2 plant, say plant A and B, here 500 unit target will be covered, then here also 500 unit target will be covered. Then they will allocate this target among different production supervisors, then production supervisors will allocate them among different employees. At the same time, the marketing divisions, what marketing division want to do, they also want to come up with a strategy to sell 1000 unit. So, they may probably identify what are the geographical areas they are going to operate within Sri Lanka, and so what are the distribution method they are going to use. For an example, are they going to sell the product by using all retail outlet in the country or grocery shop in the country, or are they going to sell the product via supermarket, selective distributions. Then at the same time they will take decisions how to promote the products, what are the advertising media they are going to use, are they going to use some other promotional activities like public relations, direct marketing. So, those decisions will be taken at the marketing department. The objective is to support the business strategy identified at the individual business unit. I think it is clear for you what I have explained in relation to this. What I have explained is the corporate strategy is identified at the group level, and to support the corporate strategy, business unit prepare their own strategies. Then support the strategies identified at the business level, operational level also prepare some strategies, operation level also prepare some strategies. So, that is what I have highlighted here. Right. Then in addition to this one, I just want to talk on deviations from this, little deviations, right. Sometime in large organizations, right, sometime in large organizations, what can happen is they may have few companies operate in the same industry. I am referring this one for a large group of a company. So, they have some companies which operate in same industry. For an example, there may be few banks. In such scenario, what will be the approach? So, I was explaining to you some deviation from normal scenario. I told to you that sometime in large group of companies, what can happen is there may be, right, few business unit operating in the same industry. Same industry, say here they may have few business unit. Let's say they have 100 business unit. So, sometime what can happen is few business unit may be in the same industry, right, same industry. If I take an example for this, if you look at about valuable one group, valuable one group, so they have LB Finance, at the same time we have Valuable Finance, LB Finance, Valuable Finance, then they have Sampath Bank, then they have Pan Asia Bank. So, hotels like Amaya Lake, Amaya Hills, Kingsbury, right, I will take only 3, they have so many hotels. So, in this scenario, what they can do? Right, in this scenario, what they can do is instead of having separate business unit, separate SBUs, they can create divisions. They can create divisions. Within the divisions, they can organize the business unit. Create division and organize the business unit. For an example, what they can do is they can have finance company divisions, right. So, finance company divisions, under this finance company divisions, they can identify the 2 business unit, LB Finance and the Valuable Finance. Similarly, they can have banks divisions. Under the bank divisions, they can identify Sampath Bank and Pan Asia Bank. Pan Asia Bank. So, here they can have hotel divisions. Under the hotel divisions, they can identify all hotels. Kisbury, Amaya Hills, Amaya Lake. Then under each one you can identify the functional department. Functional department like say production operations, HR, marketing, finance. So, here what happened was new level was added, new level was added, right, but right in our classifications this is the corporate level, this is corporate level, but these two we are not going to identify two separate level, instead we are going to identify this level as a business level, then this one is functional or operational level, functional or operational level. Then strategy identify at the corporate level, we call it as corporate strategy, this one is corporate strategy. Strategy identify at the business level, we call it as business strategy. Strategy identify the functional level, we call functional or operational strategy. Right, I think it is clear for you. Right, we will look at about the theory side again little bit through PowerPoint. So, look at how each level of strategy is defined. First one is corporate strategy, second one is business strategy, third one is operational or functional strategies. Look at the definition of corporate strategy. This is the most general level of strategy. So, I explain that point to you. Identifying the strategy for the organization as a whole. Role of the corporate parent is to manage the scope of the business activities of the organization in terms of product, market and international operations. Role of the corporate parent is to manage the scope of the business activities of the organization in terms of product, market and international operations. Now, so here the corporate parent, so what is their job to manage the scope of the business activities? They decide what are the product they are going to operate, what are the market they are going to serve and what are the international market they are going to operate. I provide some example for you for some decision taken at the corporate level, such as new investment, acquisitions, mergers, divestment, right. So, joint ventures, those are some of the example I provide. The business strategy, This is concerned with strategy formulation at the divisional or SBU level within the group. So, I explain what is divisions, what is SBU. SBU mean one particular business unit. Division, I explain this division also. In a large company, what can happen? You may have a divisions, right? I explain that one through by taking valuable one group. India, we identify 3 divisions: hotel divisions, finance company divisions, and the bank divisions. Then operational functional strategies within each business, strategic plan or long-term plans are prepared for each operational function department. So, under each business unit, we have divisions, department. So, strategy prepared at the department level, we call it as operational functional strategies. So, I explain that one to you also. Right. Then we look at about the questions again. So, questions ask, it is important that the strategies of a strategy business unit link to both the overall corporate strategy of a company and to the company's functional strategies. It is important that the strategies of a strategic business unit link to both the overall corporate strategy of a company and to company's functional strategies. So, I explain how this is connect, how it should be connect with the corporate strategy. I told you business strategy should support the corporate strategy. Similarly, functional strategy should support the business strategy. Right, we will look at about the answer given here also. Look at the answer given here, SBU strategy business unit. So, look at the way they have organized the answer. So, first of all, define what is strategic business unit. Strategic business unit is a divisions with a large amount of independence. SBU is a division with a large amount of independence. So, they have been given the freedom to take decisions, large amount of independence. The parents will not try to control them in a bigger way, they have given some freedoms. It usually develop and market its own product, but is part of a greater organization. It usually develop and market its own products. So, what they normally do is they develop and market their own products, and they are part of the large organizations. There is a hierarchy of strategy within an organization. This strategy may be divided into 3 distinct levels. So, the theory part is given here. So, I explain the theory part, look at what they have mentioned. Corporate strategy is the most general level of strategy in an organization. I explain that point to you. Corporate strategy is concerned with what type of business the company as a whole should be in, and therefore concerned with division of scope. They decide what are the business they want to undertake. Business strategy define how an organization approach a particular market or the activity of a particular business unit. Right. Business strategy define how an organization approach a particular market or the activities of a particular business unit. Then functional strategy, also called operation strategy, involve decision of strategic importance, but which are made or determined at the operational level. I explained that one. So, here is the theory part, right. This is theory. Explain the 3 strategies, then look at examiner is coming to the application side of this. The strategies of a strategic business unit are thus in the middle of this hierarchy, through no business strategy in the middle, corporate strategy at the top, then functional strategy at the bottom. SBU strategy should be consistent with the strategies both above and below it in the hierarchy. Should be consistent with the strategies both above and below it is in the hierarchy. So, corporate strategy, it is important that SBU strategy is fit with the overall direction of the company. Both the SBU strategy fit with the overall direction of the company, its purpose and scope as set out in its corporate strategy. Purpose, strategy developed at the SBU level should aim to meet the objective of the strategy set at the higher corporate level. Yes, that is one of the things. So, business level strategy should support the objectives set at the corporate level. Then scope, the SBU strategy should align with the direction of the corporate as a whole. SBU strategy should align with the direction of the corporate as a whole. For example, decisions such as which product service should be developed, how the SBU might gain competitive advantage, and how the SBU may segment its market. So, they have taken a decision at the corporate level. So, what type of product and service they will produce. So, at the business level, they can't go beyond that. It should be in line with their decisions, corporate level decisions, right. A strategic business unit must obey corporate strategic priorities. For example, to work to ensure that overall performance of the group match promise made to shareholders. It must also work to maximize synergies and avoid action that may undermine corporate strategy, such as interdivisional competition for client or action that undermine brands. Now, look at that point also in details. First one, what it say, a strategic business unit must obey corporate strategic priorities. For example, work to ensure that the overall performance of the group matches promises made to shareholders. For an example, if they have made a promise to shareholders to earn 5% returns or give 5% return to shareholders, then individual business units also should try to give a 5% return on their investment. At the same time, it must also work to maximize synergies. It must also work to maximize synergies and avoid action that may undermine corporate strategy. Synergies, they should work together. This business unit should work together to get some additional benefits, synergies, and they should not have any competition among them. They should not try to capture customers of another business unit, for example. For example, in Valuable One Group, LB Finance should not try to catch the customers of Valuable Finance, right. Then functional strategies. Functional strategies are also called operational strategies. These decisions include product pricing. These are some of the decisions taken at the functional level. Product pricing. These marketing people will take that decision. Investment in plant, personal policy, and so on. It is important that these strategies link to strategic business unit strategies, and through those strategies in turns to the corporate strategy, as the successful implementation of these is necessary for the fulfillment of both corporate and business objectives. Should be in line with the business strategy. Through that one, it should be in line with the corporate strategy. And SBU strategy must determine the functional strategies to ensure that, finance, IT, marketing, production and other functions are pursuing courses of action that contribute to the realization of business goal rather than empire building or doing their own things. Look at that one, that sentence carefully. An SBU strategy must determine the functional strategies to ensure that finance, IT, marketing, production, other functions are pursuing course of action that contribute to the realization of business goal rather than empire building or doing their own things. So, through the SBU strategy, they should try to combine the activities or integrate the activities of the functional department. For an example, when production department is given the task of producing 1000 unit, then market division should also be given a task of selling 1000 unit. Then these two department objective are tally each other, right. In addition to various functions should be mutually supportive. For example, IT should support a marketing strategy that lead to a financial advantage for the firm. In conclusion, successful implementation of strategy will depend upon there being concurrent in planning, implementation and control at each level within the organization strategic hierarchy. Right. So, with that we can complete the question number 1. Question number 1 can be completed. Then we can move to the questions number 2. J PLC